committee. My name is Deb Neal with the Middle and High School Principals. My board did take a position on this on Monday, as they have in the past. We continue to oppose guns in schools, with the exception of active duty police personnel. Thank you.
Good morning again. Jim Livingston. VEA has a long history of opposition to firearms in schools, and I would simply echo what my colleague just said. Other than active duty law enforcement officials, we continue to oppose firearms in schools.
Other members of the committee, Holly Coy with the Secretary of Education's office. The administration continues to oppose the bill, and from DCJS will share a little bit more about that.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Yes, DCJS does not believe it's the right entity to do all of the tasks that are assigned in this proposal, specifically because of the staff resources that it would take to train civilian staff employed by school boards, especially to be qualified in the areas of firearms training, active shooter, emergency response, emergency evacuation procedure, and threat assessment as listed in this legislation. It would require the same level of training for the most part as active duty law enforcement officers. And in order to provide legally defensible training, we would certainly have to develop a new certification program, and that would require what we call a job task analysis to ensure that we're providing legally defensible training that would meet the muster. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak in opposition? All right, any member of the committee have any further questions or like to speak? Delegate Boulevard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I guess my question is for our last speaker from DCJS. And I guess that there were two issues that you brought up. One was maybe kind of a tacit. You weren't quite sure if you were the right agency to do it, but I think that the more important one was a resource question, that in order to do it right would require some additional funding and some additional staff. Have you thought through what that additional funding and additional staff would entail in order to make this bill workable?
From my perspective, I would have to get back to this committee with information from my agency director. I'm certain they have done that, but I don't have that information with me.
May I ask a question as follow-up? My understanding from Delegate Lingfelter is we've not received a fiscal impact statement. I don't believe we had a fiscal impact statement on this legislation last year. So suffice to say, if the General Assembly decided to adopt this policy and the governor signed it, you would be required to then perform the function. Is that not correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Thank you. All right. I have a motion to report the bill, and there's a second as amended. If you report the bill as amended, that technical amendment. All right. Everybody in their seats. Everybody, all those in favor of reporting House Bill 1392 would please record your vote on the electronic voting system, and those opposed do likewise. All right, we're going to...
Twice, Mr. Chairman.
Well, don't worry. Okay. Has everybody, seriously, has everybody voted? Wait a minute. All right. Delegate Hester, she's still trying.
I'm a no. Okay, I'll get you.
All right. Delegate Hester, she'll record your vote. Everybody else voted. The clerk will close the roll. That bill's reported 15-6 with Delegate Hester's vote. All right, that is the last bit that we have on our docket for today. As you can see, we are going to take up bills in full committee, so we need to make sure we're here. We will have subcommittee reports at our meetings next week. Elementary and secondary subcommittee, chaired by Delegate Bell, will be meeting immediately upon adjournment of this committee. If there's no other business to come before the committee, I entertain a motion to adjourn. There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, please adjourn.